How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I really don't have a specific topic, but then again I do. But I wanted to share with you. If you don't follow me or on social media, then I'm sure you don't know. But what happened was, here's the thing. I've always wanted to run a marathon, okay? 26.2 miles. That has been a goal of mine for a very long time. However, I've always felt that it is very difficult to run 26 miles. I mean, that's what I always thought. And the longest I have ever ran nonstop was 18 miles. And man, I tell you it was pretty tough. So what happened was, I took off the other day. I just took off running. I woke up, I had my coffee, and I think it was about 1:30 in the afternoon. I decided to go for a run. And I usually like to get a run in, anywhere between 4 to 6 miles. And that's what I feel comfortable doing, and I do it, fairly often because I really do enjoy running. Now, my goal was to make a video while I ran. And so basically just stop like, every mile or every, whatever, and go ahead and talk to you about a topic that came to mind while I was running. So I started doing that, and because I was also listening to an audiobook. That's one of the things that I do when I go running. I listen to an audiobook just to learn, because I'm always about learning. I think it's really important that every day you learn something new. And listen to motivational and positive videos or audio, whatever it is. So that's what I was doing. And I was actually listening to a book by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule. And the 5-second rule, basically in a nutshell, what this book is about is that whenever a thought comes into your mind, you basically have 5 seconds to go ahead and act on it. If you don't, then your brain is going to tell you, nah, it's probably not a good idea. So in her book, she basically talks about whenever you have to say the alarm goes off in the morning, you basically, as soon as that alarm goes off, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action, and just get up. But the more that you think about it, if you go beyond those 5 seconds, then you're just going to roll over in bed and, hit the snooze button and say, I'll get up later. And the same thing if you are, going to the gym or something like that. You have 5 seconds to make that decision. It could even be if you find somebody that you see somebody that you find attractive and you want to meet them and you go, wow, I'd really like to go and talk to that person. And within 5 seconds, if you do not take action, your brain will tell you it's not a good idea. Your brain will tell you all these different reasons why you shouldn't do it. You know what? She probably has a boyfriend. She's probably married, or she probably doesn't like me, or she doesn't, whatever. So we are going to come up with all those negative ideas or reasons or excuses why we should not act on what we want to do. So here's how this whole thing kind of ties into what I'm talking about. So I take off running, and I was doing exactly what I said I was going to do. But where I'm staying, about 1.5 miles from here, every time I drive by, I see a trail. It's in a park, and there's maybe a 10-foot, a 12-foot wide concrete trail. And I'm like, I had already ran, I think it was 3 miles. And I'm like, just let me go run to that trail and then see if there's a little park and I can go around it and I'll come back. And maybe I'll do 6 miles today, because that's my thing. 4 to 6 miles is what I like to do. So I get there and I start running on the trail. Well, the thing was, man, that this trail kept taking me north. And I noticed that there were a lot of bicycles, those high-speed bicycles with those guys wearing the really tight shorts. You can tell what religion they practice. Yeah, those. So, and they were going by me like super fast and, on your left. And I'm like, okay. So, so I'm like, wow, I see a lot of movement here. So I'm thinking maybe this is not a small trail. You know, I didn't do any research on this thing. I had seen it, so I take off. So I keep running. Next thing you know, this thing is not turning around. I'm like 8, 9 miles into the trail already. And so I'm thinking it's going to be 8 or 9 miles to get back to the house. But I kept going. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dallas, but all of a sudden, I get to an area called White Rock Lake, which is a really nice lake. And there's some beautiful homes right across the lake. And this just happened to be, this was a really pretty day. So there was a lot of people walking their dogs or running or cycling, families, all around the lake. It was a little bit windy, but it was nice. The weather was really nice. And I'm like, wow. So I get to that lake and I start running around the lake. Well, I didn't know how big this lake was, but the lake, I think White Rock Lake, it's over 9 miles around. So I keep running, you know. Mind you, I didn't eat anything. I didn't have any water. Because I was just going for 4 to 6 miles. I don't need to hydrate to do that. And I didn't have any potassium or whatever it is that runners usually say your body needs. So next thing you know, I'm running around this lake and I still have, even once I go around the lake, I still have another 8 miles or so, or 9 to get back to the house. So I got to, I think it was about 16, 17 miles. And I'm literally like at the, you know, when you look at White Rock Lake, I'm at the top of the lake when you look at it on the map. And I have to go all the way around and then still have to run to the house. And I said to myself, okay, I'm at about 16 miles. I'm running a damn marathon today. Screw that shit. I mean, I've always wanted to. And yes, I could have stopped and called an Uber to come pick me up and take me to the house. But no, screw that shit, man. I mean, I'm here. I'm going to get this done. It was a beautiful day. So I kept going and I kept going. And I had a really good pace going. I get to the, you know, to the other, go around the lake and I have about 8 miles to get back to the house. It was starting to get, you know, a little bit dark. And I kept going. Now, here's the thing. For those of you that run, or maybe you've heard of this, there's this thing, I guess it's called the wall. And they say that runners during a marathon will hit the wall at about the 18th mile. So I shit you not. I'm like, okay, 18 miles. I'm waiting for this wall to bam, just hit me, right? And so nothing. I'm still going. And I think it was the 19th mile, my right calf started to tighten up a little bit. I can feel the calf muscle tightening up a little bit. But I kept going. And then the next mile, it went away. And so, man, I'm like, okay. Now, before I got back to the house, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be like 2 miles short of the 26. So what I did was I kept going on the trail for like an extra mile, and then I came right back in, and then I went on the streets, and I sort of got back to the house. And the 26th mile, the last mile that I ran, it was a tough mile, but it wasn't because I was in pain. I really was never in pain, which was really weird. I was expecting to be in pain and just freaking give up. But I was just really tired. I mean, my body was like, okay, I'm tired. So I was dragging my feet a little bit in that last mile. You know, I'm dragging. But I got back to the house, and it was a total of 26.32 miles. It took me 4 hours and 32 minutes to do it. And my average pace was 10 minutes, 16 seconds per mile overall. So I accidentally ran a marathon. That's the bottom line. I think and this is my whole point when we're talking about the, you know, like the book that I was listening to, the 5-second rule. My whole point is this. I think, had I said to myself that day at 1:30 in the afternoon when I left the house, I'm going to run 26.2 miles today. I'm going to do a marathon. I probably would have talked myself out of it, because that's what we do. See, that's how our brain works. Our brain is always trying to talk us out of doing the things that we should be doing or that we want to do, because most of the time we make decisions. I think that there's research that says that 95% of the decisions that we make are not made because we think of it in a rational or logical way. They're made based on emotion. That's really interesting. Made on emotion as opposed to logic. Because I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like running 26.2 miles today. So it's a feeling, it's an emotion. So had I said to myself that I was going to do this, had I planned it, I probably would have talked myself out of it. But once I got into it, once I started doing it and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. Then it sort of gradually, I got the strength that I needed. And mind you guys, no water, no food, no potassium, no banana, no gel, nothing. I just kept running and I did it. So the bottom line is that your body is capable of doing amazing things. I was able to do it. That was my first marathon. And you can do the same thing too. You just have to get your ass moving. Once you take that first step, everything else will follow. But that's the difficult part, you see. Taking the first step, that the amount of energy that takes to get you moving, whether it is in the morning or whether it is going to the gym or whether it's doing whatever it is, it's that initial amount of energy that you need that's going to make the difference. Think about it. Have you ever seen like a locomotive when it's taking off? At the beginning, that locomotive when the train is taking off, that locomotive works just amazing. It uses so much energy and power to start moving. The wheels start to spin and is really slow, really slow, really slow. And it takes a few miles for that locomotive to catch maximum speed. But once it does, then it's easy. The train keeps moving. It's not a problem. Now the locomotive is just resting. It doesn't take that much energy once you get moving. That is amazing. And we work the same way. Our bodies are the same way. So once you get up in the morning, that alarm goes off. Just get your ass up. You have 5 seconds, according to Mel Robbins, and it's a great book. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and just do it. Once you get up, everything becomes easier. And I know it's tough to get up early. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day, whether it is a work day or whether it is Saturday or Sunday. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I always got stuff to do. Once that alarm goes off, I get up. And once you get up, you feel really good about yourself because you're starting the day early. It's amazing what happens, guys. And it's the same thing. I don't feel like working out today. You know what? Get your ass to the gym. Once you get to the gym, you're like, wow, I'm glad I came. I'm glad I did this. And all these different things, what they do is they develop habits. And just little habits will add up, and eventually you become unstoppable. So I ran a full marathon by accident. I sort of got lost. I didn't know where I was. I refused to take an Uber, but I kept at it. Once I started doing it, I go, okay, I got this. And see, that's the difference, I think. When you plan things, sometimes things just don't happen. But when it is unexpected, then you're like, okay, I think I can do this. Of course you can. Anybody can. I did it. I never thought that I would run 26.2 miles. I mean, that was it. So now, what my goal, I have a friend that saw my post on this, and she's like, hey, the company that I work for, they sponsor the New York Marathon. and we can nominate people to enter the marathon. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, you know, right? It's so, okay, this is funny because once she said that, I go, are you crazy? You know, that's like for the really good people. I'm going to have stage fright when I go. And then I'm like, so when is it? She's like, well, it's in November. I'm like, okay, nominate me. So she put my name in. We'll see if because the thing is, if you get nominated, if you're one of the sponsors and you nominate someone, apparently you don't have to pre-qualify to get on the, to be able to race in the marathon. So if I do get it, I'm running a freaking New York Marathon. And this is the 50th anniversary, which will be pretty awesome. And what you do is you run all 5 boroughs. It's crazy. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that story with you. And I wanted you to understand, and I wanted you to get into the mindset that your mind, man, just get that initial push. Once you get that push, when you get rolling, man, it becomes easier. There is nothing that you cannot do. If I ran a freaking marathon without water, without food, and I did it in a pretty good time, and I didn't get hurt, I didn't get injured, you can do it. I'm not saying go out and run a freaking marathon. Just go baby steps. I'm talking about the little things. Just get your ass to the gym. Start working out. Start moving. Go out in front of your house and just start walking. Do that 30 to 40 minutes every day, and you will see changes, positive changes. And of course, remember what I talk about your diet and the things that you eat. Whole, non-processed foods. That's the key. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, make a comment. I don't know. I'm bringing your information because I want to share things with you. I want you to be successful. I want you to be at the weight that you deserve to be, because you can do it. You can drop 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds. You just have to have the right mindset, have the right attitude, and develop the good habits. I'll see you next week. Dale.